it goes. We are now live.
I got this coffee.
This is delicious.
Thank you.
I enjoy this tea. Well, I love tea, so.
We are live for week 7, everybody.
Already?
Yep.
Wow.
Week 7, and we're nearing the end of chapter 1.
Yeah.
Well, I think you know the routine, and Chapin is also needing a bit of catching up mentally wise on what the plot has been so far.
Because I know that the last 2 sessions have been dungeon crawl, and...
Well, essentially the last 2 sessions were just one continuous dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
So, last time... I need to take my glasses off for a second.
Wow.
On Dragon Ball Z! Goku did more screaming to power up.
And there were 5 minutes of panning back and forth between 2 characters who didn't say anything.
And Frieza just stood there waiting, because he's an idiot.
So, anywho, last time we took the... after having that fight with the closet, that goddamn closet...
Closet?
The closet case. We then decided to take the passage north. Yeah, that.
Ah, yes, that one.
That little bitch. So we went north and found a massive sex dungeon. People were chained to walls. It was really kinky.
I remember that now.
Then we went along the little, the walkway, the observer's walkway. In case you didn't want to engage, you just wanted to look.
Oh, yeah.
We then went to a giant room filled with, what is it, BDSM sex toys?
Yes.
And bondage.
Yep.
And all that kinky torture stuff.
Yep.
We went south and found some documents with. We couldn't really read any of it because it was all in some sort of ancient language or language that we can't read. And we found the privacy rooms for the sex dungeon that had a bunch of. Yeah.
Well, remember, one of the things you did end up finding was a scroll of burning.
Yes, that actually came in very important. We found a ball. We found a scroll of flaming balls
and a wand of shocking grasp.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I remember that
shocking
one.
grasp.
By the way, whoever's keeping the wand, it has 28 charges to it.
Got it.
So we found some flaming balls and a shocker.
Yep.
We also found a bunch of deformed corpses in the privacy rooms of the sex dungeon.
Yep.
Continuing on that way, we found a room of moaning. Lots of... as well as the...
I think you need some alone time.
Yeah. as well as Gimpy and the closet case.
Gimpy was there?
The deformed goblin.
Oh, not the goat.
No,
Gimpy.
no.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Quack.
Oh, dear God.
If you're wondering, kids, go ask your parents. They'll know.
Don't look it up on YouTube. Don't. Or do, and
be very, very surprised.
We'll get us soon.
Yeah.
Like you all know where we live.
So, after beating the crap out of the Gimp, we were like, oh man, we did so much damage to that closet with our channel negative energy that bypassed damage reduction. And then you said, oh, she wasn't even in the room. She left when she went invisible. We were like, motherfucker. Motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
So then we went south into the little anti-gravity chamber, which I found very odd in a sex dungeon. I would not know why you'd have an anti-gravity chamber.
Dude,
Why not?
Anti-gravity sex.
Why not?
Exactly.
You'd have nothing to thrust against.
Considering all the
Depending.
considering all the low gravity tests NASA does in space, it's amazing they haven't tried. What happens when you have sex in space?
Well, it's a very good
How do you know
question.
they haven't?
And it is a very good question. There are a lot of different processes and things that would be affected by that.
I'm pretty
if
sure the
we're
cos.
going-
I'm pretty sure the
When
cos.
there's a will, there's a way.
Done.
I'm giving you one for that one.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure the cosmonauts did enough investigating in that particular area. You try staying up in space for 3 months and not having sex with the first person you see.
Only 3 months.
He says either Frank.
Except,
It gets mighty lonely up there.
I'm not gonna say.
So, the space is very cramped, and any little bit of movement you do makes you remember, oh yeah, Newton's first law! Bonk. Bonk.
You know what they say. In space, no one can hear you scream.
So, you all ended up defeating the closet. You ended up defeating the closet. You
By giving her flaming balls
Yep.
and the shocker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every time you say flaming balls, it reminds me of a song, but I can't think of what song it is.
Goodness gracious, great balls of
Yeah.
fire. See, I was thinking like chlamydia, but
The clap.
yeah,
And you returned to the surface after having spent 3 nights down in there. The guards have barely cleaned up the glassworks because the last thing they want the town to know, considering that there's already so much being kept on the down low, is that goblins invaded the factory, killed all the workers, and mutilated them. Yeah.
I have a question.
what about the families of the glass workers?
Probably
What did they
gonna notice.
What did they think something's amiss if after 3
Well-
days?
Well, one of the things that you would have noticed if you explored the glassworks instead of breaking right in through the main windows of the factory was the glassworks factory actually has an employee barracks room.
Oh.
This is the kind of factory that takes on the kind of glass making jobs where it's like, we can't have you guys going home, coming back, just sleep in the barracks chamber and come back 8 o'clock sharp.
Oh, so it's like Amazon if you couldn't leave.
Yes.
Okay, alright.
So a lot of the families are used to their spouses not coming home for 2 to 3 nights. Especially since
They must trust their husbands and wives a lot. If you could be like, oh, just be gone for 2 or 3 days. I won't suspect anything.
Business trips.
just like those who marry firemen. Oh, honey, I know you gotta stay there at the firehouse. It'll be just fine. You and that next door neighbor will be getting off. I'll be just fine. So,
Awkward.
by the way, one of the things I forgot to mention, that one of the weapons that you guys took off that deformed goblin, the longsword especially, was actually fitted for a medium-sized creature, not a small creature.
I thought we had a big debate about this last week.
Did we?
We were like,
Yeah.
hey, if it's a long sword for a small creature, wouldn't that be a short sword?
Well,
So,
I ended up doing some backtracking, and while the other two weapons in his hand were small fitted weapons, the long sword was actually a medium creature-sized weapon. Because one of the things that you guys could have learned from Shay is the goblin that you killed, and this is all completely out of character, the goblin that you killed down in the catacombs was one renowned in his tribe for taking down a human soldier and claiming his medium-fitted longsword as his own, and despite not being capable of wielding it properly, wielded it anyway. You had one job.
Are you saying that to me or to the goblin?
So,
To John.
Oh, okay.
well, yeah, so
But I'm just kidding.
in any case, you have in your inventory a +1 longsword, which means if the fighter decides to wield it, it adds 1 point to your attack roll.
Okay.
I think 1 point to the damage roll. It might just be attack.
So do I have 3 swords now?
Technically, yes, but, you can choose to wield the +1 longsword instead of your regular one.
Oh, okay.
Upgrades.
And it'd be...
It's +1 to both attack and damage for that sword.
I'm gonna use one of your pictures.
Be careful because the eraser falls out of those.
Oh, that's not good.
Like the plastic part will just pop out.
Oh, and Will, what do you decide to do with the religious text for Lamatsu?
Can I read them? Because I know that we got some documents from the privacy rooms of the sex dungeon.
Well, a lot of those documents are so aged that they're hardly legible. The book, on the other hand, is well cared for. Most likely because the Quasit would read from it a lot.
I'm assuming there's some way to ritually purify it to get rid of those bad mojo vibes.
Well, yeah, you can always do that, but it's still going to be a religious text that says, hey, follow the goddess of monsters.
Well,
I still have glitter.
I was gonna, write a letter back to the primary cathedral in Magnamar, saying, "Hey, I've got a copy of this unholy text. Perhaps you have the facilities to better study it and better combat Lamatsu than I have here." So.
Alright. Well, so you'll end up handling that.
Right.
But for right now, when you got out of the glassworks, you were grabbed by a pair of guards saying that they can't make that Tsuto guy talk, other than him taking claim for killing his stepfather and encasing him in the glass. So they figured that one of the three of you might be able to get him more chatty.
I can intimidate him.
I could make him some tea. I mean, we could
That'll work.
we could sit down and have a nice
Oh, and
tea party and.
and Chapin, I know you.
Or I can intimidate him.
You want to get a better ranged weapon for Lucy.
Oh yes. I'm on the way wherever we're going. I'm getting a longbow
So,
and armor. If I haven't gotten that yet, I don't remember. But yeah, I have it written down.
well, I
Okay.
know you have armor.
Okay.
Don't talk over everyone.
So,
Well, you wait until they're done and then you just talk.
on the way to the barracks, you're going to hop into a store,
Yes.
You can just talk.
and the two of you are going to continue to the town barracks.
Well, I had a question. You said
Yeah.
the glassworks needed a barracks, but they're like right in the middle of like the residential district of the town.
When you look at the map of the glassworks, it does have a room fitted for bedding for the employees.
Okay. Say, because there's houses right next to it. This little hut.
I didn't make the damn thing. Ask these people.
All right.
Why, there's a giant factory that has rooms in it for their employees.
All right, Patsio, if you can hear us, why are there barracks inside a glassworks when it's right next to a residential area? That does not make sense.
So you stop off at a weapons shop.
Okay.
The guy running it, recognizes you as one of the town heroes. So, 20% off anything you want to buy.
Okay.
You took the martial weapon feat.
Longbow composite.
You want a composite longbow.
Yes.
What's your strength modifier?
0.
Well, in that case, it won't harm you. If you had a negative modifier, I would advise you not to get a composite, but since you have a 0, you're fine.
Isn't the composite better for, like...
The difference?
What's your strength modifier?
Well, she said
10.
it's 0.
0.
So a composite would only apply bonuses if you have a strength modifier.
Because a regular longbow, like the one she's carrying, it's just a flat D8 roll.
Mm-hmm.
A composite allows you to add your strength modifier to the damage.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I just thought it's made with different materials. So.
Why don't I have a composite bow? What is this crap?
Do you
Because
want
they're
to get...
a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know how much monies I have.
Yeah, I don't know where my money went.
I just assumed the church gave me everything.
I'm probably like the strongest person here.
You are the
yeah,
strongest person here.
What is this?
A composite longbow
How
is
about we'll trade?
a composite longbow is 100 gold. With the 20%
I
off.
just said I don't know how much money. You could have said 10 gold, and I'm like, Apple?
We are now experiencing technical difficulties with the character sheets.
Yeah, I don't know where my money went either. If I ever had any.
Your money is right here. You're carrying 50 gold on
Uh,
yourself.
How much gold you got?
Go to your second page. Okay. Oh, wait, you got more. Hang on.
Wait, is there a back? There's a back to this. I found
that's
it.
like your character.
Okay.
I
Alright.
got a
50
sunburn
gold
today.
and 5 copper.
You got
Or
what?
like
I got a
30
sunburn
gold
today.
and 5
That's not
copper.
good.
I thought I
Is
already
it on my forehead?
got it.
'Cause my forehead is hot. But it's on my forearm.
Well, I can see it. Well, not. This is your friend.
So
Oh,
I
my
can't buy a
bicep.
composite.
All right. Well, I can
Yeah.
see it on your bicep.
You
but
can buy...
If it is on your face, it's very slight. So
Yeah, we had a pop-up drag show today, and I stayed there like the whole time.
like drag show, like dressing up as the opposite sex.
Cool.
Awesome.
So...
Where?
At NKU.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, they have it on.
Well, now they know where we live.
So, now... So,
the North Korean University. We're in North Korea.
So, yeah, with your 20% off, a composite longbow would be 80 gold. A regular longbow...
30.
Let's see. 75.
Why don't you call me through our butt communicator and we combine monies?
And yeah, and then we'll switch bows so that you can have the strength mod. I'm okay with that.
Alright.
I'm okay with that.
That is in money.
Why do you have that much money?
Because I didn't.
I haven't spent anything.
I bought the cheap stuff. I haven't had a need to buy anything else.
I haven't bought anything.
I got like the cheap ass shield, the cheap ass Morning Star, and the cheap ass
I
armor.
have.
And I have a bunch of crap left
You
over.
guys, you all started with the maximum starting wealth for your classes.
What
And
all
then
have I
you
bought?
all had to buy the equipment that you're currently
All
wearing.
right.
This
I got
is crap.
Tsuto.
That's how it works. I mean, you all do have loot that you could sell off if you wanted to.
Oh,
Like the stuff you
Rancer?
got off the Goblin, the Rancer.
The
so
pretty
I have
rancer.
an extra long sword, I guess, right?
Yeah. You can sell the extra long sword. Since you're...
Or you can ask this guy, Mr. Rich Stuff. Which I'm probably gonna sell the long sword anyway.
The guy will give you the extra... The guy will give you 10 gold for the extra long sword since you're a hero of the town.
What about the rancer and the pretty rancer?
Okay, let's see. A regular Rancer is 10 gold. Masterwork is an extra 100 on top of that.
There was a number.
So I
You're
get
asking me to look this crap up?
at least 100 gold.
I don't know what else I have
110 gold?
extra.
120 gold.
First 30 minutes of the game, we're buying stuff.
Yes.
First 30 minutes? Oh, you underestimate how long it takes to buy stuff.
Because that's how it works, everybody.
I now have 120 gold.
Hang on.
No, you know the rest.
Well, I'm
They're
just
not-
waiting for her to buy this composite
They're-
bow so we could do a trade.
They're not going to give you the full amount. It's a store after all.
Well, then,
Is this
How much?
GameStop? Sounds like GameStop.
how
No,
much?
half price books. You like bring in like a bunch of books and they're like, oh, we'll give you $10. What the fuck, man? I paid like 80 for one of them. Yeah, we'll give you $10. Fine. I don't feel like driving around and getting quotes.
I just sell it on Amazon. Oh yeah, you hate Amazon.
And some of them don't sell on Amazon.
You go to eBay.
Some of them don't sell on eBay. And that's what my mom says.
So I can buy Secrets of the Female Orgasm on Amazon, but I can't buy a math book.
They don't sell. People don't buy them there.
I get all my textbooks from Amazon.
I'm just saying what she told me.
Well, now at my school, they match Amazon's prices. So I guess so that they get their...
Like their used prices or their new prices?
I don't know, I still get it from Amazon. Because I'm getting where I hate my school
we'll
now.
just say that Masterwork
I'm not
is the
gonna buy
same
your
as
stuff.
a +1. So that's actually an base price for a +1 weapon bonus is 2,000 gold. So
Jesus Christ!
we'll say that a Masterwork Rancier retail is 2,010 gold. So he's going to offer you
1 gold.
1,500.
Yeah, okay.
So you have 1,500 gold now.
Okay.
Oh, I guess I'm no longer Daddy Warbucks anymore.
I'm so
Okay.
poor.
And you want to buy the composite longbow, and your 20% off is going to be like 40.
Okay.
So
Sure.
give back 40 gold. You now have a composite longbow. It's the same thing, a D8 damage, but it's also plus your strength bonus.
+2.
You have the shittiest pencils.
And your longbow is just a
Don't
flat
hit my
D8.
pencils.
Okay.
The eraser we
So-
tore off,
I'll pay the...
and you have 0.5 lead. It breaks.
Regular.
You always get 0.7. That breaks too, because it's 0.5.
Anybody else want to sell shit?
I'm keeping the
Did you say
stuff.
sell shit or so shit?
Sell shit.
Okay.
Social? Like social it?
I don't know.
Are we good?
This is the
I
0.5.
did
It's
have
gonna-
another. I did have a
You
regular
can't
ransom.
change the
Was that
caliber.
included
Yeah,
or?
you change the distance so it doesn't break as
It's
easy.
called when you go to buy pencils, you get 0.7.
I don't deserve this kind of treatment.
No. That would be included.
Okay.
Alright, so you all finish at the weapon shop and you continue onward. You're taken to the city barracks. You're taken down to the prison level. Led into an interrogation room.
So where's the stove so I can start making tea?
Oh, the stove's upstairs in break room.
Okay, I'm gonna go make tea then.
Right on. So the two of you are led into the interrogation room.
Okay.
Oh, Theodora is not going with Lucy.
Alright.
So,
He's on a chair with his hands and legs and even his chest secured to the chair, like he can barely move anything at all. And he looks a little roughed up. And he looks like he also has a couple of self-inflicted wounds on him as well. And there's a guard standing
How
at the
do
door
you
when you all come in.
self-inflict himself if he's tied down to the chair?
We tied him down to the chair because he kept trying to kill himself.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to forgive their manners. Pleasantries aren't exactly extended to murderers.
The old bastard had it coming. He pushed my mother off that balcony, you know.
And you have evidence of this?
Evidence? Like she had any reason to kill herself. That's my evidence. Because that's what he claims.
So it's a case of he said, she said.
Yeah, and everybody believed him because he's the rich boy. And I'm the bastard child that she had that drove her to despair.
Or maybe they believed him because there was no evidence to support your claims.
Either way, it's in Lamatsu's hand now. He's burning.
I want to roll a sense motive check to see, to get a gauge of what personality type he is. To see if something like diplomacy would work better than intimidation.
Alright.
So,
Make the roll.
Yeah, you do that.
actually, can I just take touch of law and use...
Yeah.
So that's 19.
Considering that he's tied down because of the self-inflicted wounds, and you even witnessed him try to slice his own throat when you guys had him surrounded and defeated, he probably is not going to be an easy talker, even the threats.
You know, a man in your position doesn't exactly have many freedoms. In fact, the whole reason we're talking right now is a formality.
Such as,
Well,
if you intend to kill me, just get it over with. As soon as my love has the power she requires, she can always bring me back to life. I know she will.
the outstanding charges against you, well, you'll be lucky if you don't see a guillotine. Even so, the best you could hope for is life in a maximum security penitentiary. Considering your repeated attempts to try and resist arrest.
That's if you all survive to take me to such a place. She's still out there. She's still working her plan. You're all on a clock right now, and it's just ticking down.
Well, maybe you could help us.
Help! Please! Why would I help you?
Because helping us means that at worst you'll be in a maximum security penitentiary, and the best you could hope for would be a medium security penitentiary with privileges.
I would rather die than betray her and her plans.
You help us, you see her sooner.
There's no way I'm helping either of you.
We don't want to kill her. If she doesn't give us an option, it's what will happen. But if she's willing to cooperate, and you're willing to cooperate, maybe there's a way for you both to serve time in a medium security penitentiary.
Or you help us, I'll take the pleasure in killing you myself. Or if you don't help us, you will live until you die of old age.
Scary. You, Abadar dog. Come closer.
I look at the guard, like if that's a safe idea.
It's tied down.
Theodore jumps up on his lap.
He just glances down at her and looks back at Sam. Come here.
I take one or two steps closer.
He spits right at your eye and says, do what you want. I'm not telling you anything.
All right. guardsmen. I believe I saw them putting another pot of coffee upstairs. You may want to go upstairs and get yourself some.
He chuckles slightly and says, "You know, I have been feeling a little tired lately." And he shuts the door. He goes, "Oh, good cop, bad cop routine."
You're assuming that you have any friends in this. I've been trying to help you. I've been trying to be the good cop. But if you want to spit in my eye, if you want to shit on every effort we have to work together, then I swear by sweet and sunny Abadar, I will stomp your face into the goddamn ground.
Oh, now that's what we need. A little bit of wrath. Always goes a long way.
You make the mistake of assuming I serve some god like Palor. Abadar is not forgiving for those who betray the law.
Oh, we know all about Abadar. Abadar is going to be one of the first to fall once Lamatsu's avatar is made.
Lamatsu's avatar?
Well, of course. Nala's not just hoping to turn into some random demon, after all. She hopes to be the very presence of Lamatsu on this planet. That's why she's going to raise Sandpoint to the ground. I know that you all looked at my journal. It was sitting right there on the desk, after all.
You did leave it out for us. It was a rather stupid mistake for someone in your position to make.
It happens when you happen to rely on foolish goblins to be your guards. They were so happy at the thought of killing anything that walked into that factory instead of one of them simply running down the stairs to say, Tsuto, there are intruders upstairs. Let's hope they burn with the city.
You're a smart man, Tsuto. I don't believe that you'd make that mistake. How do we know you just didn't plant that journal to send us on a red herring?
Oh yes, I'm going to plan a journal of all of our battle plans, one of which being the one we ended up using, and all those pictures of my darling love. I'm going to take the time to do all that and just leave it there for any random person to survive the goblins and myself to grab a hold of.
You seem smart enough to have a backup plan like that.
I did, but and he motions to the fact that he's tied down. You stopped me from cutting my neck. And right now, I can't do anything except wobble in this godforsaken chair with a loose leg.
No. All you can do is try to send us down the path that your quote-unquote journal laid out for us. It goes right back to what I said before. How do we know we can trust anything you say?
Gee, I suppose you can't, can you? Isn't that the lovely thing of free will? I can lie as much as I want. Or I could tell you the truth and you'll think I'm lying. Or I could lie and actually be telling the truth.
Or you could take us to evidence that'll prove what you're saying.
What about my father?
About your father, about Nala's plans. Really just about anything. If you're able to provide evidence, it's a bit harder to deny that.
As far as my stepfather goes, the evidence to him being a murderer crashed headfirst into the waves below their mansion. And as for Nala, as I said many times before, I am not telling you anything.
Couldn't we resurrect the wave crasher?
She's been dead for quite a few years. I don't think resurrecting her would be a fine idea.
Not only are those particular arts beyond my ability, the churches as they are tend to refrain from engaging in such activities, playing with the will of the gods, nature, and what other forces are at work.
Worth a try.
die. But I think he just wants to die, so me intimidating him isn't really going to do anything. It's an 8, or no, I just got a 9. You got more intimidation than I do.
He just laughs and mocks you. He's mocking you now. He's mocking you!
Let's see.
Come on, you bloodthirsty fighter. We all know you want to do it. Do it!
Do what?
Touch of law and intimidate. So, you want to die, is it?
I will happily die because I know I'll be resurrected once she gets what she desires.
You know, it's a funny way that they keep people alive in prison. First, they bolt your arms to a wall so that they'll never move. They're permanent fixtures, and I've seen people try to break out. Sometimes they'll even break their elbows thinking that they can pull their arms through the holes. It never works. They think that they can choke on their own tongue if their own tongue hadn't been cut out first. And they feed you by sticking a long leather tube down your throat, pouring that awful, awful swill down the funnel, bypassing your mouth completely. They'll keep you alive for a long, long time, Tsuto.
That does sound very horrifying. Almost as horrifying as when we burned one of the sacrifices alive. Lovely young woman. Goblins dragged her in. We took her down to the altar. She would not stop screaming for over an hour into the fire, you know that?
You won't stop screaming for years.
Lucy.
Yes. Is the tea done?
The tea is done.
Okay.
And also, finally, you get a visitor.
Oh?
Yuna happens to walk into the city guard.
Oh, hi.
Hello. I'm usually here to give a prayer, but I see that most of the town guard have left recently.
They have?
Yeah, Sheriff Henlock took a few to Magmar.
Oh, right, okay.
It seems that most of them have left recently, but it was kind of force of habit for me to come here anyway.
Well, great. I'm making tea for one of the prisoners. We're going to sit down and have a nice tea party and talk about things.
Prisoner?
Yes.
What prisoner?
Oh, I wasn't supposed to tell anyone about that, was I? Oops.
Who's down there with the prisoner right now?
A man named... Oh, who's with the prisoner? I'm sorry. Names. Stanton and Linka.
So one of the magistrates is down there. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to go take a look myself.
Okay. Can you help me carry down the tea?
Sure. So she brings the tea down with you, knocks on the door.
What are we in the middle of doing to him?
Yes, what are the two of you in the middle of doing to him?
I am in no help in this, especially since he just wants to die, so I can't scare him with death. So, and I'm not smart enough to talk him out of it.
What's your modifier on?
He is trying
3.
He is trying to egg you on into attacking him and whatnot.
I'm kind of like.
Hey, like your...
You're looming in the background, but not actually doing
Probably
anything.
like holding on to my short sword, just like
Not gonna kill kill him. No, I'm gonna kill him.
Yuna knocks again.
Hello? We're here with tea.
I'll open the door. Some in the back.
So she steps inside and hands a teacup to you.
Don't hand it to me.
She holds it out anyway.
Pushes it back.
Did you get the table ready?
You'll have to forgive our host, motioning to Tsuto. His apparent quarters are underfurnished.
So Yuna stands beside you and says, "What are we dealing with here? I know that you, as a follower of Abadar, have things under control as far as the law goes, but being a follower of Bahamut, I would also like to be involved in some fashion."
I motion with Yuna outside.
Alright.
And Lucy starts trying to find a table and chairs and a frilly tablecloth.
Alright then.
He is a tough nut to crack. He apparently... threats of death aren't going to do anything against him. But I've been trying to threaten him with the prospect of maximum security in penitentiary. He's mentioned something about how Nala is alive and how she is trying to become the manifestation or avatar of Flamastu.
Really now? And I suppose such news is being kept away from most of the public.
We're just learning it now.
True. If he's being that stubborn of a fool, have you tried any magical route of getting him to talk?
Not yet. Namely, because all my spells are still prepared from the time we were in the dungeon. I suppose giving it a day or two for me to...
Done? Never mind. Where?
Oh, it was somewhere. I really couldn't remember. One of those random trips out into the wilderness, really.
If you want, I can attempt to cast a charm person upon him.
That would be of great assistance.
And then, considering that there are things at play that the sheriff wanted to kept outside of certain ears, whether it succeeds or not, I shall take my leave.
You're leaving Sandpoint?
No, just of the interrogation.
Ah.
So, she walks back inside.
Lucy is pouring tea into his mouth, helping with,
Is it scalding?
unintentionally,
Yes.
if it is.
He spits it back up in your face.
Oh, I'm sorry, was it too hot?
I laugh accidentally.
Says, "Get away from me, you bitch."
Why, Tsuto,
Smack him!
That's no way to
Smack
treat a
him.
lady.
Can I go up and smack him?
Sure.
Okay.
So you
Because I
smack
feel
him.
like you won't.
But we're having a tea party.
So you smack him, and and Yuna comes over, and he suddenly goes still, sits right up. I think it worked. Have fun. And she walks out.
Are we not having a tea party then?
No.
You said that Nala was trying to become the avatar of Flamastu. I'd like to know more about that plan.
Plan is very simple, actually. Few sacrifices here and there. Started with the sacrificing of the remains of her father, Father Tobin. I was the one who took his body out of the crypt along with the goblins. And we sacrificed his remains at the altar that very night. A couple more, and then we just have to sacrifice the entire city of Sandpoint in one great blaze. And and her transformation from the angelic creature that she is to the demon creature she wishes to be will be complete.
I want to know the specifics of this ritual. I'm not asking you personally to go, oh, well, we do this and this.
I know.
It's...
I personally do not know the exact specifics. Nala is talked to by Lamatsu herself ever since she arrived at the Thistletop encampment. Or at least, no, we're all pretty sure that it's Lamatsu herself that is speaking to her. And all that we know is the sacrifices that we've been giving, the big sacrifice that we're planning to do, and there is supposed to be a creature in the deeper levels of the Thistletop statue that we are supposed to release and get on our side to help with the raid that will involve burning Sandpoint to the ground. Knowledge geography for anybody who wants to know about Thistletop.
10. Wait. Yeah, 10.
You just know that Thistletop resides. You just know where Thistletop resides, and that it's sunken into the water. It's off from the bay, so there's probably a bridge or something that connects it to the mainland. And when the tide is low, it kind of looks like it was once the head of a statue that is now submerged into the ocean.
You maniacs! You blew it up!
Yeah.
Damn you! God damn you! Planet of the Apes.
Oh.
Charlton Heston?
Yeah. Come on.
Oh.
But yeah, that's all you know.
Again.
But yeah, that's all you know in terms of that. But yeah, so that's what he says so far. I'm just looking for a map, don't mind me.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what exact questions we need to ask him.
May I have a Coke as well?
What?
May I have a Coke as well?
That was the last one. We had to break into our
Damn you guys!
We had to break into our sickness bag to get that one.
Sickness bag.
Because when we were younger, when we were sick, Mom would give us a warm Coke to settle our bellies. It worked. Don't ask me how it worked, but it worked. And so we were keeping one in reserve.
Yeah, you guys are here in Sandpoint.
Wait. Oh, God. I need to scroll up. There we go.
Yeah, you guys are here in Sandpoint. Thistletop, and you may want to scoot the map over.
Why don't you zoom out?
No, the other way.
The other way.
Thistletop is all the way
Oh,
here.
wow. That's a long way away.
It's actually supposed to be 2 hours by foot.
Bullshit.
If Tickwood is supposed to be half a day,
Or where they can, PCs follow the Lost Coast Road east, they can reach the Thistle River crossing relatively quickly, 2 hours by foot. So actually no. You're able to reach the river in 2 hours.
The average human land speed is 4 miles an hour. So what you're saying is that
It's a 6 mile journey to Thistle River crossing. It doesn't say how long it actually takes to get to the actual Thistletop itself.
Very, very confused.
I know, but I know. But anyway, continue your questioning.
Really? Give us some general. Give us a general idea of how the attack on Sandpoint is going to happen. What the force composition is. What the strategy is.
Once we have, well, first we're going to release the creature from the lower levels of Thistletop. Unfortunately, nobody knows what exactly the creature is, but it is supposed to be strong, and it is supposed to be ancient. That's all we know. The goblins have an idea of what it is, but we're pretty sure, they're goblins. They'll think anything is some big monstrous six-armed freak of nature that looks like a giant hobgoblin. There's going to be that leading the charge, Nala herself, who thanks to the closet in the catacombs, has been trained in the powers of being a cleric of Lamatsu. She was also a very adept fighter. I was supposed to come along as well. We also have a bugbear on our side who has been willing to fight with us. A mercenary that we pay very good money to fight for us. And the entire Thistletop goblin tribe, including their leader, who is very much on our side because of our promise to release the creature from below their encampment.
So, you're offering both the bugbear and the mercenary large sums of money, or just the mercenary?
Just the mercenary. The bugbear has actually been willing to work with us. First, to have had his life spared, since he attempted to steal from us, and then just because we provide him with food, lodging, and things to kill.
Who is this mercenary then?
Oh, the mercenary was some random soldier. Just some random soldier we picked up at a tavern in Magnamar. Auric. His name is Auric. Actually, not Magmar. He came from Riddleport.
Any more information you could give me about him? Race, favorite tactic?
He's a human. He's very adept at his sword and shield.
Tell me, how much exactly did you offer Auric?
We pay him 1 platinum piece a week.
Platinum. Very nice.
He's the only one of our team that does not take part in any of the rituals at the altar. And then there's just the entire Thistletop Goblin tribe. With the exception of their druid, he does not like Nala. He's been residing outside the encampment in the woods surrounding.
In the woods surrounding Thistletop?
Yes. He's tried very hard to get the Thistletop king to go against Nala, and just exiled himself when he failed.
What does...
Oh, and then there's also a female wizard.
What can you tell me about her?
Oh, she came to us pretty much broken, upset, wanting a little revenge against the people that kicked her out of the Pathfinder Society. Mainly because she murdered the other two people that were intending to join.
And what's her name? Race?
Oh, she's another human. Her name's Laya. She's very kept to herself, too. She's very kept to herself, too. She always stays in the level below the surface encampment in her little research room.
So Laya has her own chambers beneath the Thistletop encampment.
Oh yes, as far as we can... Actually, we've recently found the third level that the creature is supposedly in. We're just trying to find where in that third level the creature is.
And I'm assuming she is on level 2 of that.
Yes. There's the surface level. There's the level where our altar, where our altar is and most of our bed chambers are. The goblins stay on top. And then there's the third level that we recently discovered via a secret passage.
Actually, do you think that you could make for us a map of this particular encampment? Or at least what you know of it?
Sure. Just unbound me and give me some parchment.
Well, we'll get to that later. Laya, this human wizard, did she talk about anyone in particular from the Pathfinder Society?
Just 2 other apprentice wizards that she was competing against to get a place in. She felt that she could not best them, so she took them out of the running. And of course the society realized what she had done and kicked her out.
You got any questions?
Apples? No.
They are good.
Well, our bugbear loves hunting elves too. Has a whole necklace of their ears.
Any particular tribe of elves that he's been focusing on, or is he an equal opportunity hunter?
Mostly equal opportunity, but he was originally a trapper in the Nettlewood, the woods that surround Thistletop. So, yeah, he would mostly go after elves that lived close to that area. He always keeps talking about this elf ranger that he keeps running into. I can never remember her name.
Talking hell.
As in, every time they ran into each other, they would always try to kill each other.
Is that what they're calling it now?
Actually, the bugbear likes to hang out with Chief Ribnugget's wives.
Rip Nugget?
Oh yes, that's the Thistletop tribe's chief. Chief Rib Nugget.
Is he on the dollar menu?
You mentioned the Thistletop goblins. Are there any other goblins involved in this raid?
Oh, we've been trying. Last time we got a couple of different tribes to join in with us. But mainly the Thistletops, since that's where our base of operation is.
Any goblins that particularly... have you encountered any sort of hostile or overtly negative reaction from these goblin tribes?
Mainly the ones to the south.
Such as Mosswood?
Yes.
But then again, I guess they're hostile to everyone, yes?
Goblins are always hostile to each other. They see visits upon each other as a way of killing the other tribe and taking their stuff. And Thistletop has been said to be the best goblin encampment. It's practically a tiny little island separated from the coastline.
And you're still doing this while bound up?
Yeah. Tiny little island separated from the coastline.
I thought we untied him to draw them down.
No. Not yet. As soon as the guard comes back from his coffee break, we'll ask him to get some parchment and inkwell.
Oh, he's outside the door right now.
Well, what exactly, with this ritual of Nala becoming this avatar for Lamastu, what exactly does that entail? Is Nala's personality going to be taken over? Is it...
We believe so. We know that her angelic taint will be replaced
If they
by
ask for Carlos, tell them to go suck a dick.
Right on!
I didn't hear any.
You got back from work.
Her celestial taint will be replaced by demonic presence.
Did you say taint?
Yes.
That's what she considers it.
Okay.
Not that taint, you sick bastard.
To be honest, I hate the fact that she's turning herself into a demon, but succubi are demon too, aren't they?
Not exactly the type of demon you'd want to consort with. Then again, you really wouldn't want to consort with any demon.
It's not gonna love you once all this goes through.
She wants this change because she perceives it as being better. Once it's undergone, her perception will be changed. Maybe she'll hate herself. Maybe she'll love herself.
She seems to be enjoying her new arms so far.
She just wants that dick.
She just wants to what?
You know what she's saying.
She seems to be enjoying her new arms so far.
Because she's still...
Oh, God.
Because for the most part, she is still herself. Once this change is complete...
Except for the 2 ugly scars across her belly. Which she did to herself.
And I don't think either of us think it's a good thing for her to be destroying herself in this way.
Well, if it wasn't for that foolish blacksmith to impregnate her and leave. We had a lot of fun carving him up.
So he's already...
Have fun failing!
Oh, he's been dead. We didn't even bother making a sacrifice of him. We thought it was too good.
Huh.
Have you been looking for him?
For a little bit, yes.
Maybe?
Have fun with that.
So, how long have you two been going out?
Ever since I found her.
Which was when?
It could have been yesterday.
Ever since my mother was killed.
That also could have been yesterday.
I ended up coming across her around the same time she came across the shrine of Amatsu. That was a few years ago. Before we had the previous church burned down here in Sandpoint.
Before or after she met the blacksmith?
After. You know, charmed person doesn't last forever.
I know. While we're on the subject, why does your sister hate your late father so much?
Because he hated her becoming an adventurer instead of staying at home to be an uptight lady of the house. She wanted to walk around in woods, dark caves, and dreary dungeons, being the bard to a happy-go-lucky party, sleeping on the ground, eating fish. He wanted her to wear pretty dresses, learn to raise your pinky every time you hold a teacup, and bow her head to any man who so much as looked at her.
That sounds dreadful.
To him, it was bad enough when she became an adventurer, and it became even worse when, upon returning home, she decided to be a bar, waitress, and tavern owner.
If he hated her so much, why did he come here pleading for her to come home after the recent goblin attack?
Because he didn't want to be discovered as the one who left the city gates open for me and the goblins to come rushing in during the festival.
He did it personally, or?
I blackmailed him into doing it.
With what?
By claiming I had actual evidence that he was the one who murdered my mother. He took it hook, line, and sinker, too. He was willing to believe anything as long as I said, I know what I have, and I will release it to the public.
Well, that's evidence right there.
So he left the gates open, he put a few ladders up for us to climb. Then he stayed home during the festival in his nice little safe mansion. And then I guess the guilt got to him and he wanted to skip town. Before he did, though, I told him to come to the glassworks so I could hand the evidence over for him to destroy. Silly man thought he could come up behind me with a knife. One of my goblins came up behind him with a sword. And I'm sure you saw the rest.
Yes.
You know how long it takes to encase a person perfectly in glass?
I believe you've just learned how long a charm spell lasts.
If you want him to write out that map, you better have him do it now.
Alright. So we give him a piece of paper and inkwell I've had the whole time.
Actually, I think I have.
And he ends up giving you the surface map.
Alrighty.
A crude drawing, but that's basically what it looks like. It says, oh, by the way, the bridge is rigged. You'll want to go across it one at a time. Just one at a time.
why don't we take the sea route? Is there no sea entrance to the caves?
Well, no. You're talking about a 50-foot climb.
I see your point.
Plus, the currents between there are horrible.
Gotcha.
Now there is a sea route here. If you wish to deal with the giant squid-like creature that lives within that little cavern.
I'll make a note.
And he also gives you the map a crude drawn map of the first level dungeon.
Alrighty.
That means Theodora goes first across the bridge if we choose that route.
Yep.
And then a crudely drawn of what they know on the second part of the dungeon.
Alright.
And he marks out which one is Nala's bedchamber and where on level 2 she normally resides as well.
Because he'd know that.
Does he mark out Lias as well?
He marks out her research room.
Okay. So, I think I get a little bit of a strategy. Not much, because I'm kind of stupid.
And after he finishes the map, he kind of glazes over and starts shaking his head. And starts to realize what all's been going on.
Theodora ties him back up.
Thank you, you've been most helpful.
You sons of bitches! And he just starts cursing you left and right. Very loudly. Sometimes in Elven.
Can we kill
Now,
him?
because you gave us all of this information
He doesn't mean anything.
under the influence, it's hard to really know if you're cooperating with us of your own volition. So, any sort of legal agreement, such as reduced sentencing or medium security prisons, well, that's kind of off the table now.
And he just,
Because it's inadmissible in court.
he kind of slumps back in the chair and goes quiet. It's not going to matter anyway. Just because you know the layout doesn't mean that you'll be able to survive your trek there. They will get you. There are so many goblins there, and Nala with her cleric powers, there's no way...
Can I just punch him out?
Alright.
Oh, I want to punch him.
Oh, have Linka punch him.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walk up behind Stanton and I punch him.
So yeah, he goes completely unconscious now.
Alright. So, out of the
Jesus Christ,
cell...
I thought he'd never shut up.
Out of the cell, away from him now.
Yeah.
I think we have a few different plans. For one, we have to stop whatever's inside Thistletop. Whatever that creature is, we have to take it out. Because that seems pretty critical to their plans. The bugbear he was mentioning. I believe we know a elven ranger that has been has a particular affinity for attacking and dealing with goblinoids. On top of the fact that the bugbear has been harassing the Nettlewood elves, if we could get in contact with them, they'd probably help us withstand the attack. The mercenary, Auric, he gets paid 1 platinum, was it a week or a day?
A week.
1 platinum a week.
That's like 100 gold, I think.
100 gold a week?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I don't think any one of us has the finances to pay him, but if we get in contact with the mayor, maybe we can find a way to pay him off. I mean, if they're buying him, we just have to offer him more. goblin druid. He's been trying to convince the Thistlewood goblins to not attack. So we can either get his help directly, or we can work with him to try and convince the Thistlewood to abandon their plans. Laya is a bit of a toss-up. Optimally, I'd like to work with the Pathfinder Society to try and find a way to, well, convince her to not work with Nala. If we could find a way to maybe affirm her self-worth, or find a way to convince her that she could be great without the Pathfinder Society, that would probably be more beneficial to us. If not, we just have to work with the Pathfinder Society to see if there's any sort of weakness we can exploit. I'd rather not do that, but if push comes to shove. He said that he was trying to recruit other goblin tribes. We know that he had some altercations with the Mosswood goblins. I don't necessarily know if they'd be if they'd be willing to work with us, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or so the saying goes. So we can try and see if they'd be of assistance. So we've got a lot on our plate.
And you can thank the percentile roll giving the chance of Yuna happening to show up as an armed person prepared, or else you would have gone into all this blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was DM Fiat, but...
It was a bit of DM Fiat, but like I said, I left it all up to the percentile roll. If I had not rolled an 81%, if I had not rolled above 50%, you would have had to gone with the fact that Tsuto was never going to talk at all. No matter what you did.
Gotcha. You're a sneaky little shit, you know that?
Yeah.
You make you proud, John. You're almost an asshole as good as me.
Yes.
I know. Because I could be a jerk.
No, you wouldn't have had a good roll.
No. But then again, I probably would have gone, fuck it. Let's do this. So.
So,
yeah.
So, you all know that their plan to raid Sandpoint pretty much hinges on them finding this so-called creature in the 3rd level, which according to him, they've broken through. And he's only giving you a partial map of, since they haven't searched the rest of it yet.
Is there a Pathfinder representative in Sandpoint, or is it too small a town for that sort of thing?
It's unfortunately too small a town, also given the fact that it's the only people within Sandpoint that would be eligible for the Pathfinder Society is really, well, now the 3 of you and Amiko, who's retired from adventuring to be a tavern owner. So no, you want to look at some place like Magmar.
Do we know where... would anyone in town actually know anything about Laya?
You can try knowledge local.
Oh yeah, I have that.
Knowledge local as a way of asking around.
I could also just try asking Amiko, seeing if she has heard that name before.
27?
27. And what about the fighter?
16.
27. A few people remember a female wizard coming by the town before a few years ago, never catching a name, and then saying something about pretty much stopped in town on a boat, bought some supplies. Some of the store owners you speak to saying she kept going on about wanting to go to Magmar and join some guild.
Did she mention at all where she had studied?
No. And Amiko, on the other hand, if you go to ask her, says, I do not know the name, but I do remember a wizard stopping by, saying that she wanted to join the Pathfinder Society. I told her to head to Magmar, because that's one of the closest places they're held up. She seemed she stayed at the bar, and she seemed to be annoyed whenever people tried to come over and talk, even when I tried to talk to her. She wanted to pretty much keep to herself.
The Pathfinder Society requires some sort of identification or some sort of credentials to the applicant's name, don't they?
Mostly.
So if she studied somewhere, they would probably be the best people to check with, right?
They would have to know who she studied under or how she gained whatever fighting knowledge she knows of.
Alrighty. Stanton's going to see if he can send a letter to the Magmar Pathfinder Society to see if they can send back any sort of information on Maya.
Alright.
I know that's going to take a while. I'm
Yeah.
not expecting immediate results, but it's about getting the ball rolling.
So, your you're given two fast modes of travel for the message. Either the equivalent of what was the old form of postage back in the
Pigeon?
Old West? Well, one is carrier pigeon and one is the postman on horseback that would always have those posts where they would... I'm blanking on the name. The old form of post offices back in the Old West.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Where you'd have one guy ride pretty much noon to midnight till he got to a post, handed it off to another rider who would continue riding.
So,
Do we want to do it the Game of Thrones way, or do we want to do it?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they have
or
like the
Assassin's
Raven.
Creed,
Or
Oh, because I thought you were going to say Game of Thrones use horses and Assassin's Creed use pigeons.
No.
yeah, carrier pigeon gets the benefit of being a straight line travel. Straight line always being the fastest form of travel. The people on horseback, have to follow the road, and there's always the slight chance of an ambush happening.
I say carrier pigeon.
Yeah, I'll probably end up sending it by carrier pigeon.
5 copper.
Here you go.
He takes your letter, ties it to the pigeon, and sends it off.
Alright.
So, probably be day and a half before it returns, depending on how long they take to answer whatever it is you're sending.
Or if they even use carrier pigeon back. If it's a lot of information, they may end up sending it on horseback.
That too.
Alrighty.
Which, by the way, now that you're here, we got a message from, well, it doesn't really say who it's from, but it is addressed to you.
Oh.
And it's from Magmar.
Oh, alright.
So you take it and you open it and it's from Hemlock. And it says, I didn't put a return name on this since nobody in the town is supposed to know I'm gone. I have spoken to the local enforcement here in Magmar and the people in control of the censor. They know of the blacksmith. He has been reported missing for the past year now. And that's pretty much all it says. So your blacksmith is missing as far as Hemlock goes.
I sent them a response letter saying, we had a prisoner inform us that Delic is deceased and have been killed. So, the next order, I'm assuming that for the rest of the day, I'm going to be trying to debate with the mayor to see if we can try and get up enough money to pay off the mercenary.
So, how do you go about explaining this exactly? And by the way, while you're doing that, what is Linka doing?
Trying not to fall asleep.
I know.
Where are we?
We're back at Sandpoint. We haven't left.
Yeah, I was just putting your all's tokens on that map, but we probably won't be using it tonight.
Oh my god, dead goblins.
So, Stanton is speaking with the mayor.
Okay.
And Heather, I know you've been sitting there all bored looking and whatnot. So what is it that you're
Coloring my sheet.
You have been coloring your character sheet. I don't know how to feel about that.
What are you doing?
I'm not sure. I think whatever is.
Do you want to go look around?
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna go look around.
What? Bugbear? Talk to the elf about the bugbear?
Let's go talk to the elf about the bugbear.
You want to talk to Shay?
Okay.
Yeah, Shay, it happens to be staying at the Rusty Dragon Inn.
Okay.
So the two of you go to the Rusty Dragon Inn.
Evidently, we have to talk to you about a bugbear.
Whatever that is.
It's this woman, if you remember.
Yeah.
God! Playing a game! So frustrating.
It's someone who looks just like me, pretty much.
Well, except she's an elf and you're a human.
Besides, she has the blue color scheme. You have the green color scheme.
So, when you mention bugbear, she kind of stops mid-sip and says, Bugbear?
Yeah, evidently there's a bugbear or something. Working with the goblins. I was making tea, sorry.
Working with the goblins. Which goblins?
The thistle people? Thistle top?
How many goblins are there? The goblins.
There are goblins spread throughout the interwebs.
There's like,
Yeah, Sandpoint is surrounded by goblins, but the only reason they don't attack is because
what?
they're too
All
busy
goblins
fighting
look
each
alike
other.
to you? You racist?
You just asked the race of this other person not too long ago. You were like, race? That's like your first question.
Well, it's to identify them. Okay, if a police officer was asking you, hey, who mugged you, would you go, oh, he was a guy?
Yes.
Yes, because I wouldn't want to be a racist.
No age, no height,
Well, you
no
can give
weight,
age.
no race, no color, nothing.
What if
Not
I
even their clothes they were wearing.
What if I tell the cop I don't see race, sir?
How would that look? You'd look pretty damn stupid. And you'd be poor, because all your money would have been taken by this unknown assailant.
It was a big black guy. He went that way.
Oh, shit. I'll give one for Lucy for the tea party.
Yes.
So she
He had
sits,
pretty
True,
blue
because the
eyes.
cop's not going to be like, you racist.
so she
He's not
sits,
going to be racist. He's going to be like, okay, this is a way to identify the person who had a gun in your face.
so she sets
No,
her
the cop
drink
would be like,
down.
of course it's a black guy.
She sets her drink down.
He's like, I don't know. Oh, I'll just put him down as black.
Black,
Oh.
black penis.
If we haven't already told you, this is a show for mature adults.
We are not racist at all.
I think you
She-
just proved that.
The the values displayed here are not
I just saw a drag show today. Equality.
I may know of the bugbear which you speak. His name is Berthamus.
Big Berthamus.
He's a very infamous ranger. And he often visits the Five Goblin tribes looking to trade the various pelts and goods that he steals off my tribe.
Theodora sits at the bar with her elbow on the bar, leaning
He's
forward.
not even looking. He's not.
Leaning
So
forward.
cute little dragon, like.
So, big penis. Lucy looks at her.
Cuteness went.
Theodora!
Cuteness went. Boop.
I am so sorry.
It's 'cause she's an elf, isn't it? It's 'cause she's an elf.
Oh, I was. So
I-
all elves just want to fuck all the time? Is that it? Are we being racist against elves now?
Are you just assuming
They
that
fight
that's
a
what I
lot.
meant?
I would not dare.
You fight a lot, right?
He
Means
kills.
you like her.
He kills my people and wears their cut-off ears around his neck as
He
trophies.
rapes them to death, sews their skin into his clothing, and eats their flesh. And if they're very, very lucky, he does that in their order.
I do that every Friday.
Yeah, that's courtship, right?
So do you know where? So you know where this bugbear is? And tell me that you're going to have a raid against Thistletop.
Maybe. It's in the plan.
Where do I sign up?
No! Only one fighter in this group!
I'm a ranger.
Tough titty!
We can. We need all the help we can get, right?
Sign on my ass.
I'll just shake hands instead.
Shake her hand.
Okay.
You'll have my bow.
And my axe.
You have to be a douche.
I do have to be a douche.
I will be in town. Let me know when you plan to leave for Thistletop and I'll join.
Okay.
Maybe.
So, to the mayor. Stanton, how do you explain to the mayor that you hope to raise more than 1 platinum to get a mercenary on your side who happens to be working with the enemy?
These damn pencils.
Mayor, we've come across some information in the imminent goblin attack.
Do tell.
Well, they apparently have in their employ 2 humans. One is Laya, a human wizard. We're looking into that now. The other one is a human mercenary. His name is Auric. We were wondering, the optimal solution. We were thinking that the optimal solution for him would be if he were to work for us instead, say with a payoff of some sort. He's been receiving a salary of 1 platinum a week.
1 platinum?
We're hoping
For a single guard?
either he's very good or they have more resources than they know what to do with. I'm willing to bet on the first one.
You're hoping to get a mercenary on your side that is well within their base of operations?
If we're able to make him an offer, say 2 platinum to not attack.
But you have to get to him first.
That would probably end up being part of our plan. When we head to Thistletop, we believe that we'll be encountering several of their key officers, him being one of them. If we're able to make him an offer then, he may be disinclined to attack, or he may even join us. I'm not saying we need to offer him the same wage. I highly doubt that we'll be paying him 1 platinum a week for eternity. What I am saying is that if we're able to give him a massive payoff to not attack, maybe we can convince him that in the long run it's better for him to work for us than against us. The money would simply help that cause along.
Make a diplomacy roll.
Touch of law with 10 in diplomacy, so that's a 21.
I call this plan insane. But we trust the 3 of you. Ah, Jesus.
Who's Jesus?
Oh, Abadar. When do you plan on making way for Thistletop?
Once we get word back about Laya from the Pathfinder Society, we'll then try to see if we can use that to convince her to work with us, or to find some sort of weakness in her tactic. Once we've established that, and to contact with the Nettlewood Elves, try and convince them to join us in our fight, then we'll make for Thistletop.
All this while there is an impending invasion hanging over our heads?
There's a creature somewhere in Thistletop that they want to find and release. They've had difficulty doing that. They haven't even excavated the entirety of those ruins, so...
I see. In that case, I will try to have 2 platinum ready by the time you go.
We probably won't take the money with us, obviously. We would like to give him a signed letter of credit, letting him know that 2 platinum are sitting here for him. That way, he can't just take the money and attack us anyway.
Very well, then. Still say this is an insane plan.
Well, desperate times call for desperate and admittedly crazy plans.
Indeed. Is there anything further?
Well, not today.
Good. If you excuse me, I got some paperwork to fill out. And some money to find.
I could bring over some of the information on the coffers from the Church of Abadar. Maybe we could work together, see if there's some sort of solution we could reach with both of our organizations.
That would help.
I'll be back.
Awesome. You'll have about 208 gold worth of donations in the coffers over the course of the past few weeks. Since you took over the church.
I mean, I would be assuming that donations wouldn't be as high as tax revenue. So.
Yeah. But since it's only... Well, since you're also a hero, Sandpoint, that's boosted donations in church a bit. As well as it did your attendance.
I noticed that part.
And a lot of the young women are willingly handing over their coin purses.
It's because of the battle. A lot of men died as part of the guard defending the town. That's why there's lots of single ladies. All the single ladies. All the single ladies.
Don't
Put
you...
your hands up. Sorry.
Don't you start.
My sister sent me a little meme that said, like, all the Pringle ladies, and they had the Pringle guy's face on all the dancers, and I thought that was hilarious.
Wow.
So,
Get it? All the Pringle ladies. All the Pringle.
I got it.
so, we still have roughly... So, we still have 10 minutes left. And since you guys have stuff going out in the woodworks, we can probably go ahead and round those up before ending the night. So, starting with your attempt to speak with the Mosswood goblins.
How does that go?
Well, when you try to approach their encampment, the first thing they do is, of course, attack you all on sight, since you're approaching on their encampment. What do you guys do when you have goblins firing arrows at you and running towards you with swords drawn?
You know that scene in Mulan where the dragon, like, does the fire stuff and his shadow's really big on the stone?
Yeah.
And then he walks out and it's this tiny little dragon?
Yeah.
Can we do something like that?
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and let that go, because goblins are stupid. So, you scare away the initial combatants.
I am your god!
And by scaring them away, you end up having their chief come out, wanting to pretty much surrender to what seems to be this all-powerful dragon that's come across their doorstep.
Okay!
So, do you keep Theodora in the shadow?
Yes.
Who tries to speak for Theodora?
Because they can't see my mouth move beneath the mask.
So, their chief, who is a really fat goblin, comes rushing out and drops to his knees. We are your humble servants to a dragon. Do not roast us.
You do the talking, I'll do the...
Yes! You will bow down and serve me!
What do you wish of us?
Food!
Bring it food! Bring it food!
Ale!
Bring it ale!
Protect the town of Sandpoint!
Why?
Because I wish it!
You heard the bitch! So,
He looks at his chest. I don't look that feminine.
Longshanks all look the same. Well, anyway, so these wheel carts are brought out and placed before Stanton and the rock that is being used to cast a shadow, filled with what goblins would consider edible food.
So, like, tin cans.
Man, there's some good stuff in there that were raided from
Raw
farms or
meat.
whatnot, so there are some fresh vegetables and whatnot, and raw meat from the cows.
Corn.
They were fresh probably 3 days ago.
Corn of doubtful sources.
And then these big, now when I say big barrels, I mean big to them, since goblins are like 4 feet tall, and these barrels of ale to a person would be, the size of a bear. They're rolling them, you got 2 of them just rolling these barrels towards you, and trying to look for a bit of appreciation.
You have pleased me!
I am hiding my laughter.
out torches and whatnot because they're little pyromaniacs anyway, and they're just doing a little interpretive dance. So, you now have the Mosswood Goblins watching the road between Thistletop and Sandpoint.
Yes!
If Thistletop ever makes a move before you all do.
Oh my God. Has anybody ever watched True Blood? Yes, no? In season 2, like, there's like a bunch of people, like at the end, they all worship,
I've actually seen season 2, I know what you're
They all worship Dionysus, so they all have like these black eyes, and they're really stupid, and,
they end up
Dionysus is telling them that, like, the true God's gonna come and take her away or whatever.
And she makes them have an orgy around her.
Well, I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about when Jason tricks them that he's the true God, and he gets up on the truck and he's like, "Worshippers!" And they're like, "Bow before me!" And they all get on their knees, and then, like, the sheriff is telling them what to say, and he's just like, "What? What?" And they're like, "What is he gonna say?"
Oh, she's gonna lose it.
And Sam, who is a shapeshifter, like, he's the one that is being sacrificed. So Jason, like, tells them, like, "Be gone!" And Sam turns into a fly. So basically all his clothes drop, and they're like, "Ah!"
So,
"Now be gone and tell Dionysus." And they're like, "Yeah!"
the next day when you return to Sandpoint, there is a horseman waiting for you at the post station. And he's got pretty much this small vanilla envelope for you.
Vanilla or Manila?
However it's pronounced. I always thought it was vanilla for some reason.
All right.
That's Manila.
Manila. So he has a manila envelope for you. It's enchanted
We
to
just
smell
heard
like.
something about John today.
Excuse the scent on the envelope. We have a certain wizard there we have a certain summoner there who's turned from doing egg tricks to making things smell like food. And the GM is handed a hero point.
Yes.
That means the villains now have a hero point.
Oh no.
Thank you, Will.
Way to go.
I'm kidding. I wouldn't be that mean. Anyway. So, you have an envelope.
Alright.
It's addressed from the Pathfinder Society.
Alright. I'm assuming that it all contains information that I'll learn next week.
Or we could do that dump now, just so we can end on you knowing everything you need to know.
Alrighty, we can do that.
Okay. So, inside you have, we'll pretty much treat it like how a school would. So you get her
Report cards.
report cards, personal info, everything that she would have turned in to be considered a candidate for the society. Now, one of the things you end up knowing is, she is a Universalist trained wizard.
Okay.
With all the powers beforehand. So she has no school that she is best in, nor does she have any schools that she is not. She's a universal wizard. She has her arcane bond is in a familiar, who is a white cat.
Make friends with the cat.
She
Don't kill the cat.
I'll try not to.
I was talking about
So you
At
can't
the-
kill the cat.
when she registered to join, she trained under a wizard in country away from the one that you reside in. We'll call him Merlin. She trained under a wizard named Merlin, who is another Universalist wizard. She mostly seemed to prepare herself in combat spells, even when she was trained to be an initiate. Now, her personnel file listed her as one who tended to keep to herself. Counselor records placed her as having a horrible self-image, which probably was what led to her murdering the other two initiates in order to have no competition to enter. When she was discovered and cast out, she proclaimed that the reason she was not part of the society was because the society is horrible. They treated her like shit and not yada yada, even though she knew she was caught.
Gotcha.
So, being a Universalist wizard, she really has nothing in the way of weaknesses other than being a squishy wizard.
I take it there was no contact information about Merlin.
It's actually listed in the file that when they attempted to contact him, they received no word back.
What's a cell phone?
Exactly.
Breaking the wall, breaking the wall, breaking the wall.
Any sort of commendations from her teachers, or?
Well, there were letters handwritten. In fact, they include copies of them.
Okay.
Copies of the letters, just written on regular parchment and ink.
I'm just trying to bug you.
Oh, I thought it's like I want really important information.
One thing you can probably ascertain from the letters is it has very feminine-looking handwriting.
So
That doesn't
she
mean anything.
forged the letters.
Well, I mean, they were copies, so maybe they were like a female scribe that they're like, hey, go copy these. Oh, all right. But then again, I have feminine handwriting.
Don't you have chicken scratch?
I write. It's cursive.
So?
It's frilly.
John Begley has feminine handwriting. Just because it's feminine doesn't mean it's a female.
So, that's all you get from the society.
You guys and your gender.
Was there anything else that was necessary?
Is it necessary for me to drink my own urine?
And so,
Dodgeball.
alright, so
But I like the taste.
on
sterile and I like
the
taste.
so
It's
on
actually not sterile.
It's only sterile when it's in your bladder.
so on that note, we can probably call it a night.
On me talking about drinking one's own urine?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
that's a good place to end.
Yeah, on that note, we can probably call it a night. With you having everything that you all wanted to be ready for the attack on Thistletop.
Oh, cool.
Any questions, comments, or anything of that nature?
No. I would ask if diplomacy is an option with some of these people, just so we don't waste our time. But I know that you wouldn't. I would know that you wouldn't answer that, so that's why refrain from asking.
Diplomacy for what people?
For like Laya.
The
Or-
bugbear.
Well, I think with the bugbear, there's not exactly going to be much diplomacy. Maybe getting people to help us fight the bugbear. But as for the bugbear himself, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So, and trust me, I'm a dick. I know that diplomacy doesn't work on me.
So,
You just
remember
like to say that you are.
remember to write down how many hero points you have.
Oh,
I went up to 5.
I did too. Wow, I got hero points this time. How did I do
Do I
that?
actually have 6 or do I have 5? Because that was a really funny joke.
You get to keep it.
Okay.
And Heather, I know that you pretty much sat there all the time with nothing to do. I'm sorry.
But, I mean, you get to chop people up when combat actually happens.
Yeah.
So.
If I make good rolls, yeah.
Yeah, so far that hasn't been happening for me.
Wow.
But you got a +1 longsword now.
Yes, you do.
Just stick close to me, and I'll touch my law
And-
all over you.
I got a +2 longbow, so
Plus.
yeah, because I got to add my strength to mine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
To the damage roll. Yeah. So, everybody say goodnight, and we'll stop and we'll pause the recording.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.